everyone out there. This is Heather / Hetty from Twitterland that this gets posted to, and to Facebook land, and to my Ning account. This one is toward my Epilepsy Cures account, but always gets posted to my Alive and Me as well on Twitter. And it's for wonderful Epilepsy Awareness Month, and it's in regards to basically how has epilepsy helped you? And that's such an odd question because I know it's kind of strange to ever sit down and ask, how can, cancer help someone? How can, diabetes, how can, any illness or being hurt or divorce or any circumstance in general, how has that helped you? And, honestly, I've gone through quite a few and go through quite a few and, several, different types of illnesses. But epilepsy my forefront, and then just other circumstances in life. And I have really watched how, with faith and how I personally react to it, how it actually has been a help, not just to me, but also to others that either I know that are in my family or that I don't even know and that, are surrounding me, strangers. And it's just pretty awesome that as long as you have the right outlook in life and know that, you will be seen through, that, there are answers out there, that you will have, an answer for you. It just takes time, it takes faith, it takes, positive attitude, and that answer will come, that door, will open. And that I know for a fact. I've seen it when the doors are closed, and it just takes that time, for you to just keep strong, keep walking, and have that faith, and, not let it knock you down, and all of a sudden, creak, this door begins to open. That's just way too obvious as an amazing answer. And, how I always look at it is I know that, I have amazing faith, with Jesus, and I only do because of how epilepsy affected my life big time later in my life after, I got pregnant with my daughter, and it led to first brain surgery, it led to my ex beating me, it led to overdosing after my first brain surgery after he beat me. So all of that combined led to me, running to find Jesus. So all of that, you have to sit there and be like, wow, well, that's just, I personally just think that's great. Had that not all happened, I would probably just still be a nimwit, who, just is selfish and doesn't care. And actually, back in it was in my late 20s, just before I got pregnant, that's when my hormones were changing and stress was setting in as, when you get into that age bracket, if you're in college with a lot of stress, newlywed, and you have a lot of work on your hands, if you're working, like I was in the hotel industry, I had, made front office manager, and just all this stuff begins to just intertwine, and the marriage was not pretty. It off and on, off and on, off and on with all that stress. My seizures began to change on top of hormones at that age. And that's just when I still didn't accept it. I didn't understand it, because my whole life they've always been the same, and they got to a point in my late teens where they were controlled. So I just always figured they'll always be controlled. That was my attitude in that age bracket. They'll always be controlled. And I remember having, at a couple different occasions, a seizure, which they had changed from they were atypical absence seizures, to complex partials, which I was completely unaware of what the heck those were. Didn't even hear the term before. And I had them behind the wheel of the car. I remember the first one was actually getting onto the 15 South in San Diego. I was actually at least in the turn lane to get on there, and everyone around me had gone, And all of a sudden, well, yay, I was at the front of the line, but I wasn't before, and all of a sudden I woke up from it, and I was just like, wow. But the difference was is that, I had more and more after, and witnesses of him, and I still just didn't accept it. I remember going to the doctor once, and I had him check it out. He kind of made a slight change with the meds. I didn't like it. I pretty much screamed at him for it because the side effects were awful, and I just went back to the norm. And I didn't really, it didn't sink in that, wow, it can change. So I didn't even get to study. I didn't get into it. I didn't study it. I just went on with life and didn't accept that. And that's like the difference of like that me, then and the me today. Because when it really hit forefront, when I got pregnant, when my seizures really went nuts, and you're responsible, for someone other than just yourself, and people aren't dealing with you as well. My ex and his family, they weren't dealing with the situation, because I got in their way. You need to stand up for yourself, and that's when you need to figure it out, and you need to find out everything that's really going on, so that you can not only just take care of yourself and learn more, but then in time, once you know what answers are out there for yourself, and get better and get on the on the way to finding those answers, so that you will be better, if not fixed absolutely 100% in time. And that's where I'm on my way to, this year. And that way you can reach out to others with all that knowledge, and going, like I said, to that support group, and just, and even on Twitter, and exchanging info on the different types of seizures that you have, and the different type of auras. Auras are considered seizures. And it's amazing the differences in them. You can read in a textbook what they say. I cannot stand it when the doctors sit here and they say textbook stuff. Well, this is what you'll feel. That's not true. Textbook is textbook. Everyone's so different, and I am so one of them. And, and I don't know why this came into my life. I always think, it happens for a reason. I started the whole walk. No one else in my family had it, but my daughter does. And, that came into her life later, and perhaps, that's the whole bandwagon reason. I don't know, but you gotta just take it, with that grain of salt, and just know that, God does have these happen for a reason. He gives you strength through all of this stuff. And, you're a complete advocate through it, and you will help others. You will show people your strength through it, whether it's your family, your children, or whether it's the family that you live with, whether it's your friends, whomever it is. These support groups that, I go to, whether it's for my kid or for, myself, it's just amazing, the stories. And, the differences, yet the similarities in so many. And then when you can tell them, what you feel like, boom, it just will just be like, oh my gosh, that's so similar. And they don't understand that that isn't something that's crazy, that, it's truly something like, that they are to be open with their doctor about. Not to be, quiet with your doctor. Be open about everything you feel. One of the last, but, must that I've always been with is, I may have started to see a psychologist because I was into overdosing, but she actually specializes in psychology because of epilepsy. And there is so many reasons for it, because so many people don't understand why they have it. They don't understand their mood swings, the mood changes, and it helps you to figure it out why your brain is the way it is, helps you grip it, and helps you get through everything to the point of when you accept what you got, and then you get that strength through it, and it's just amazing. And that gives you the strength to be able to really reach out to others, and that's really how I'm sitting here today, the way that I'm sitting here today. So that was my other key point. So blessings this wonderful November, and have a wonderful day today. God bless.